Good morning, good morning. Happy winning on Wednesday. Y'all know the day of the week. It is Wednesday. We are here. It is the peak of the week. Keep your foot on the pedal, y'all. We are excited. As you guys can see, I'm definitely in a different studio today. And I know I told you guys yesterday, and we're excited for this show. Real quick, y'all, before I get to bring on my amazing special guest, Mr. Stewman here, go ahead and drop your weekly win in the comments. You guys, I mean, that's my weekly win.
Let us know you're winning. You know, we want to know your wins.
My win is being here. And so thank you, Ryan. I appreciate your time, man. I know you're busy. I am newer into the Apex community, and it's already blown up tenfold for what I invested in to join. So again, thank you for your time and your hospitality here in the studio. It's an amazing setup, y'all. If you guys haven't been to Apex HQ, you got to hit up Ryan, hit up the team. You guys would have an amazing time here. Just a beautiful space, beautiful property. Even Taylor was showing us out back too. And I'm like, you guys got 2 acres back there? 4.
Yeah.
4 acres.
4 acres in the richest zip code in the richest county in Texas.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, that's all about winning, baby. So again, thank you, man, for your time. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in every Wednesday. We appreciate y'all as well. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Mr. Stewman, but real quick, what's your weekly win?
Well, it's Wednesday. So my win for Wednesday is last night I got to spend a good amount of time hanging out with Jelly Roll and Post Malone and Struggle Jennings and Lainey Wilson. It was a star-studded event last night. So
dope.
You know, one of the things that I've been very fortunate over the years is I know a lot of celebrities, and it's not. I was just telling Monaco this earlier. It's not that like maybe I'm some cool guy. Maybe I am. Maybe I have a low self-worth or whatever the case, but. You know, I'm somebody that people can trust. I'm not out. There's not photos of me with those people last night. I'm not a clout chaser. I'm not a, oh, hey, Posty, take a picture with me. You know, they know we can come back there and hang out and have a good time, and we're not going to be a disturbance. And, you know, we're just good people. So we get invited to a lot of the celebrity events that happen in town, and then, you know, speaking at stages and hiring celebrities and building our own stages over the years. We got to know a lot of these people. So last Wednesday, friends of ours that are in the music business hit my wife and I up, and we're like, you know, hey, we're doing an impromptu Jelly Roll concert. It's going to be a bunch of stars. What's that guy? Shabuzi was there. You know, this guy like the #1 song in America. You know, I'm not big on TikTok, but everybody there seemed to fucking know his music. You know what I mean? And it's like a country rap crossover guy, but it was a cool song. But they invited us out, and we got to go to Billy Bob's in Fort Worth last night. So I actually didn't come home last night. I stayed. And I pre-planned this, so it wasn't like I got drunk and didn't come home. But I knew what was going to happen. It's like it's going to be a late night, and I don't want to be driving back an hour to Dallas from Fort Worth at 2 a.m. So, you know, we're hanging out and watching the concert. And, you know, I've been there with Dustin Lynch, and I've rented Billy Bob's for our stuff a bunch of times. If you're not familiar, it's the world's largest honky tonk. If you don't know what a honky tonk is, it's a place where white country folks go to hang out. And so, but last night was a crowd of all types, bro. The people watch it was great, you know, and, you know, after the event, the lights come on, and we have a choice to go be on stage or behind the stage with the band, but I like to listen. You can't hear the music behind the stage. I've made that mistake before. So the lights come on, and I'm like, all right, cool, it's time to go. And then they came and got us, and they're like, oh, hell no, y'all ain't going nowhere. Come back here with us. So we went back in the green room, and we're chilling. I'm talking to Struggle Jennings. I've known him for a long time, talking to Jelly Roll. I talked to him and his wife on social media and the DMs pretty often. And Post Malone walks in, and I never met Post Malone before, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's Post fucking Malone. Holy shit, man. And him and my wife, they're like waving at each other like Post Malone about to get his ass kicked. Right? I'm just kidding, but that really happened. But I wasn't mad. I was like, you know, fuck, you know, at least he's letting me know I got a good looking wife, right? And the cop that's in security for all of this, just small world. Like one time I met this guy in Frisco of all places, and he parked behind me at a restaurant, and he's like, nice car, man. And I was in my Lamborghini. I don't have that particular car anymore. And I was like, yeah, man, you know, thank you. You know, what do you do for a living? He's like, oh man, I'm a police officer in Fort Worth. I was like, cool, I'm gonna be in Fort Worth on Tuesday. If you want, you can drive my fucking car. And he's like, get out of here. I was like, yeah, dude, like, just let me take a picture in your uniform getting into the car. It'd probably be cool on social media or whatever, right? And he's like, bet. So the following Tuesday, this is a year ago, I went down to the Drover Hotel, and he was standing out front, and I was like, let me hold your gun for you. And he's like, I'm going to lock this in my car. Right? And he just took off, drive the Lamborghini. I told him, hey, man, just take it back to valet when you're done. I don't give a fuck how much time you spend in it, you know. Dude, since then, we text pretty often. Turns out this dude's like the assistant chief of police for Fort Worth. So last night, he's guarding all the celebrities and shit, and he's like, hey, man, whatever you need, dude, if you want, you can't really I don't want to take pictures and shit because I don't want to be like the fangirl that comes in there, But, he introduced us to everybody that we didn't know, and then obviously we know the people who are hosting the event. So that's my win, is I can fucking do some cool shit last night.
You guys, I hope y'all heard that, though, because what I got from that, which I always, ever since I've heard you speak in December and started following y'all and obviously joined Apex, you never know who you're going to meet and who they're going to know, right? And I think that's so important. I also think it's important to be composed and be prepared for that. My guy Todd's here with me, and he always hears me say it's better to be prepared with no opportunity than to have an opportunity arise and not be prepared.
Absolutely.
And I think that just goes to show it's like, well, you never know who you're going to meet. And then this person turns out he knows this person knows this person. Next thing I know, I'm hanging out with freaking Jelly Roll and Post Malone, dude. I mean, it's freaking sick.
And that's also another good reason not to be a sloppy drunk, because what if I'd have been out there getting hammered and blasted and everything else and could have made a fool of myself in front of all those people. So, that's my thing is I want to come in, and I believe you build a relationship like this. Like it starts with especially with celebrities, because, I'm not a celebrity, but I'm a businessman with a huge following, and I've been doing this for a long time. And it's not... on one hand, it's like flattering that someone wants to take a picture with you, but some people, they just take it too far. So I never want to be that person.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like, act like I never wanted to, I wouldn't have took a picture with Post Malone last night and been like, I'm hanging with my friend Posty. It's like, I don't know that guy. You know what I mean? Like just because I got a picture with him, I don't know him. But for me, it's like, okay, I've run into Jason or Jelly Roll several times. Last night, Struggle ran into my wife, and he's like, where's your husband at? And then I came out of the bathroom, been there, and I talked to him for probably 20 minutes, and he's like, dude, we're buying rehabs. I'm finally getting a record deal to where I don't have to front the money anymore. We got private equity. I need to hit you up about. So these celebrities, and dude, I've met Rick Ross, Fat Joe, Lil Wayne. Like I've smoked weed with I don't smoke weed anymore, but I've smoked weed with every rapper that I've ever wanted to smoke weed with, and gotten
Snoop?
and done some really cool. Man, Snoop, man. I'm not a big Snoop fan. You know, like he seems like a cool cat, and I'd hang with him, but I never been like a big fan of his stuff. First album, good. Rest of the shit's mid, right? But I say this because, I go there and maybe I run into him once and it's like, fist bumps. Hey, what's up? Then maybe 6 months later, I run into him again. I'm going to keep running into these people. And by the third, fourth, fifth time, they're going to be like, hey, man, so what do you do for a living? You know what I mean? Like the first time I met Jelly Roll a year ago, like in person, I have this like diamond blinged out AP that I wear when I'm speaking on stage, or if I know I'm going to be around rappers or something, because that's their kind of shit. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, goddamn, brother, we're the iciest rednecks in this motherfucker, right? But I try to do those things that make memories so that the next time I run into him, it's like, yo, what's up, closer? And so anyway, because the people that fangirl out, like it weirds out a lot of celebrities. You know what I mean? Even me, I'm not a celebrity, but if somebody's like, hey, yo, can I get a picture? And I'm in the middle of something, I'm like, yeah, it's cool because you're a fan or a client. I want to support that. But at the same time, it's like, you clearly saw me headed somewhere else with a mission.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Right. Well, dude, let's go ahead and backtrack that, because obviously up until this point, right, there's been a lot that has transpired in your life. And again, I got to hear your story more in depth back in December. Shout out to Andy Elliott at his event. OmegaCon was the name of that one. And it was life-changing for me out there. You see me wearing my shirt, the
Take
lifestyle.
your shirt off.
Yeah, right. Not today. That's good. But take us back, right? Because obviously the show here is winning on Wednesday. But a lot of the times we have to go through shit, and we got to go through hell and back to get to that win, right? That win that ultimately can change your life. And then it starts to snowball, right? And you keep that momentum going. So one of the questions I always typically like to ask people before we kind of start getting into the storyline is, what was Brian Stewman's first job?
My first job was I mowed lawns for a car wash chain. My dad was the manager of a car wash chain. There was like 5 locations. And so during the summers, he would take me to each location, Monday, one location, Tuesday, and I'd mow the yard and get $10.
Yep.
And with a push mower,
It was like an acre.
Yeah. Well, there was some lots that wasn't very much, and then there was one that had about 6 fucking acres that I mowed with a push mower, and it fucking sucked, bro.
Yep.
Now there's like an auto parts store there, but it used to just be an abandoned field.
How old were you with that?
I was probably 9 or 10.
Yeah. Okay. Getting after it. And I started, my first job ever was I had a paper route when I was in second grade. And it's funny, like 6 years ago, I'm on the insurance side of things. When we started our company, me and my dad started that company together. And it was funny. It was almost to the day we look like 20 years back. And on Saturday mornings, the papers were too thick because of the cartoons. And it's funny, we have a podcast called Saturday Morning Cartoons. It's hosted by an 11-year-old because instead of watching Saturday morning cartoons, he's interviewing millionaires on a freaking podcast. But for me,
awesome.
it was, I'm not watching Ninja Turtles or WB right back then. Channel 4, we didn't have cable growing up. It was, I got to deliver papers. And it was like they were too heavy for me to carry, so my dad would help me deliver these papers on Saturday morning.
That's awesome.
And then but it's crazy how much that instilled in me to where then, I'm mowing yards, I'm running farmers markets, then I got into construction, and then ultimately I've been in insurance for 10 years. And I got in when I was 19, college dropout, and just been doing it. Started at the bottom. Intern, customer service, sales, and now more in a leadership type role. So but again, talking before you even get Apex really up off the ground and running, talk through some of that story. And I know, it takes a little bit of vulnerability there, but I know you have that. And I just think it's crazy powerful because I think a lot of people, guys, listen up. And if you're not taking notes, you need to be. You will be able to relate to this, take something from it, because what you find is that it's not all freaking rainbows and sunshine, right?
It's not ever going to be all rainbows. I'm a multi-millionaire with 109 figures worth of real estate and big companies, and it's still not rainbows and sunshine. I say that, like, I don't know how long it lasts, bro, but you stay in what I call rich man's purgatory for a long time because you're investing in your business, you're investing in hard assets like real estate or land or mutual funds or whatever, and it's like I still can't afford the Trump tax team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I still don't have the Kardashian type of lawyers working for me and stuff. So it's never going to be rainbows and sunshine because when you're running a business, you have to hire people, then fire them, and that's disappointing. And then you can't make, like, I've had 82,000 clients. There's probably 100 of them that hate me.
82,000.
And it sounds like that's a lot of fucking people that we let down. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, that's how it goes sometimes when you're running that many people in 14 years. We've had 82,000 clients. You can't make them all happy, and it sucks. You know what I mean? And then the 82,000 people that or 81,900 people that are super happy, they're busy doing work. The 100 people are fucking
complaining.
pissed still 10 years later. You know what I mean? And so it's never really all. The idea that, I'm going to make $1 million and my life's going to be perfect is fucking stupid, right? It's not. You're going to make $1 million, you got $1 million problems. You're going to make $10 million, you're going to have $10 million problems, But like Puff Daddy says, right, well, may not be the greatest person to quote these days, but more money, more problems, you know what I'm saying? He's living it, you know what I mean? Like he's a billionaire with big fucking problems. So it never, the problems don't go away, being in sales, being an entrepreneur, just being a human is a bunch of shit days with the occasional rainbows and sunshine on a day that makes it all worth it, Like when we go through a storm, and there's wind and there was tornadoes like there was up at my ranch in Ardmore, Oklahoma recently. There was 80 tornadoes tore through everything, but at the end of it, man, it was another beautiful day. You just have to weather those storms. I weathered a lot of storms in my life, At an early age, I was my parents divorced and I was adopted by my stepdad. So, when you get adopted, you change your name. I was born Ryan Russell McCord, which is my dad's first name, is my middle name. Then I became Ryan Keith Stewman. And so somewhere around the 3rd grade, I think it was, I'm changing not only my name, but really my identity. My grandfather was a banker in this town of 1,500 people that we lived in. And in the 80s, about 84, 85, the savings and loans crisis, kind of like the subprime thing that happened in 2008, my grandpa lost a lot of people's money. And it wasn't that he was a bad banker or anything. They just shut down the banks and confiscated money. The government did it. But back then, then, we didn't have social media. We didn't have, CNN and MSNBC and Fox News to really report on what was really going on. So people were like, they took our fucking money, right? So here I am, this kid going to school with other kids that their family had been affected. And now I got a new identity. My parents were divorced. It was rough, man, and then we moved to Dallas after that. And to get away from the small town. And Dallas is a huge city. It's one of the top 6 biggest cities in America and growing. If you count Fort Worth, it's like top 3. And just a huge city. Again, now I got a new identity again because now I'm some country boy from the fucking sticks living in the big city. And I was born in Dallas, but we moved back to So anyway, we come to Dallas, and then I kind of followed the career path of a kid that was come from divorced parents and adoption. By the time I'm 13, I'm smoking cigarettes and weed. And by the time I'm 16, 17, I'm doing LSD and trying new drugs and whatever the fuck I can get my hands on. By the time I'm 17, 18, I'm selling drugs. By the time I'm 19, I overdosed on drugs, went to prison for selling drugs, did 2 years in prison, came out of prison, went to work at that same car wash. But when I got out of prison, it was like, okay, I got an opportunity to change my life. I'm not going to break the law anymore. That didn't work for me. And I've got a job at a car wash for $7.25 an hour. Okay. I'm going to go there and I'm going to be the best fucking car wash dude to ever do it. Right. And so this is where most people, like you said, be prepared for the opportunity you have. This is a low budget opportunity, $7.25 an hour. Minimum wage was $5.50 back then. So I thought I was in tall cotton.
It's not like $20 like it is now.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm just like, man, I'm going to learn everything about this place. And as a young guy at 21 years old, I'm going to learn everything about this place, work my way up through the corporate ladder. I'm going to become the manager. And then one day I'm going to save my money and I'm going to buy these fucking car washes, right? So that's what I did. I worked my ass off. Well, here's the thing. Hard work, it may go unnoticed for a while, but eventually if you work hard enough and you are a master at what you're doing, it can't be ignored. And so a customer comes in sometime around 2004, regular customer is always washing her car. She's like, dude, you got to be the hardest working person I have ever seen in my life. I want to give you a job. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I've been to prison. I got a life plan. I'm going to run this fucking, I'm the manager at this point, but I'm going to be owning this car wash chain. This lady doesn't know my past. She doesn't know that I got, a lot of baggage that ain't Louis Vuitton. You know what I mean? Got a lot of Walmart paper sacks as baggage. And she goes, I'm going to give you a job. And I said, well, lady, I got a job, but I appreciate the offer. And because I had such a low self-worth at the time. And she goes, well, this job, you can become a millionaire. And I'm like thinking, okay, well, maybe I can become a millionaire in the car wash business too. So, I go, well, what do you do? She goes, mortgages. I'd never heard that word in my life. And I'm like, what's that? And she goes, well, loans to buy homes. And I'm like, lady, that's my 1968 Ford over there. I paid cash for it. I pay my rent with money orders. I had to, since I was a felon, I had to have a friend of a friend sign for an apartment for me to live in because nobody would rent you an apartment. It's really like when you've been convicted of a crime, and that's not my identity, he just asked for the story, but when you've been convicted of a crime, man, the world is against you. They won't rent to you. They won't, a lot of times back then, they wouldn't give you a checking account because I had sold drugs and it was on my record. I didn't have any credit. I mean, dude, I had all the fucking weight of the world against me.
21.
Can't get a job, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm working at a car wash and the people that work at car washes are people that can't work anywhere else typically, And now it's kind of a respectable job. Car washes print fucking money, but back then it wasn't, And so I'm like, okay, well, there's a problem. I got a felony on my record. And she goes, well, what's it for? And I was like, for selling drugs. She goes, oh, shit, you'll be fine, dude. They'll love you. What kind of drugs? I was like, cocaine. She's like, oh, they'll love you. And so I got her number. And the next day, the owner of the car wash showed up at my location. I hadn't seen him in like 3 years, and he was hungover. He had been in a fight with his wife. He just started talking mad shit to me for no reason. And I'm running the #1 location out of the whole chain. He just showed up mad at the world, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go be a millionaire. And I handed him my fucking keys, and I walked out. But I hadn't called that lady yet. For all I know, she gave me a fake fucking phone number, right? So but I was willing to bet on myself. So I called the lady on Sunday. This was a Saturday. I called her on Sunday, and I said, hey, I'm going to show up at your office and work on Monday. And she goes, come on. So I showed up at the office dressed my best, bro. I'm thinking I'm going to be a banker. So I'm wearing work boots, jeans, and a shirt that I went and bought from Walmart that weekend, a button-up shirt, right? Because I ain't got, 50 cents to my damn name. The second day on the job, the fucking engine blew in my truck.
No.
No warranty. Now I'm out. So went and traded the truck out so that for payments on a new vehicle. They fucking ripped me off at the dealership because I didn't have any credit or anything else. I didn't say rip me off. They had to fucking do a horrible deal because I didn't have no credit or nothing. Now I got 1 month until I owe $400 payment, right? And so I go through there the first week. Everybody's dressed in suits and they're leaving at 2 p.m. and they're having margarita hour and all this shit. And I'm like, well, I can't afford any of that. So I started studying these underwriting guidelines. And I don't know shit from Shamrock. So I got a dictionary and a fucking set of underwriting guidelines. And I'm like, dude, I'm used to working 80 hours a week for this car wash. I'll work 80 hours here and figure this shit out, right? So that Saturday, so I start on a Monday. That Saturday is the Michigan-Ohio State game. And I go over to my friend's house that I've known as family and him, and we do this every year. It's a tradition at that point in my life. And I'm sitting there with his parents, and I was like, y'all owned this house for like 17 years, huh? And they're like, yeah. It's like, you ever heard of something called a refinance? And they were like, well, we've had a bankruptcy, and so we can't refinance this house, but we have a high interest rate, and it really sucks. And I was like, it's almost Christmas time. What if I could get you some Christmas money and then lower your payment and maybe even cut some time off in this home, right? They're like, again, we got a bankruptcy. I was like, I'm pretty sure I read that you could still do that with a bankruptcy, And they're like, well, didn't you just wash my car last week? And I was like, I fucking did. But I got this lady, Monica, and Monica says that what I'll do is I'll just put you in touch with her. So Monday, I go to work. Monica, let's call these people. So we call them about 4 p.m., and she talks to them, says a bunch of gibberish that I still haven't learned yet. And she goes, okay, take this over to their house and get them to sign it. So I took the stack of papers that she had Post-it note, everything, signed it. I'm like, okay, what do we do now? Brought it back the next day. What do we do now? She goes, I'll show you. So she showed me how to order an appraisal and taught me what that was, showed me how to order title. 2 weeks later, I made like $6,800.
Wow.
Fuck, dude, that was like 7 months work for me at the car wash. That was it. By the time I left the car, I was making $10.50 an hour.
Wow.
Right? And so we're talking, a shitload. I was making maybe $600 a week, when I left the car wash. And so now I got, let's call it, 12 weeks worth of fucking money. And I'm like, oh shit, man, I got a quarter of a year's worth of income. 2 days later, okay, so that was about 3 weeks into it. 2 days later, I get a call from the guy that mowed the yards at the car wash. Hey, bro, where you been? I ain't seen you in a month. Did you quit? Yeah, man, I'm a mortgage guy now, And he goes, oh, no shit, I'm buying a $700,000 house in McKinney. You want to do the loan on it? Fuck yeah, I do. So he goes, man, we're self-employed and we're struggling with the bank. Maybe you can help us out. Maybe I can. So I made like $21,000 from that deal because it was a big house, right? So now within about 45 days, I'm sitting on 30 grand. I'm like, oh shit, that's fucking crazy. But then I run out of my warm market. Right? This is entrepreneurialism. Most people, they go and they blow all that money. I didn't go shopping. I didn't go do any crazy things, man. I had a $400 a month car payment, truck payment, and I went and bought a Dodge truck. And then I had a $600 a month apartment. So I've got money in the bank, right? So I'm paying my bills. Everything's good. And then, believe it or not, I'm like, fuck, I don't have anybody to sell a house to now. What do I do? So most people quit at that point. They're like, they blown the 30 grand. They went and bought a Rolex and thought they were big balling and shit. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to work and work and work. And maybe 60 days into it, I'm starting to get low. I got like $8,000 left or some point like that. Maybe 90 days after all of this happens, I'm starting to get low on my income and I'm like, or my savings. And I'm like, fuck, man, what am I going to do? And I look up and there's an ad on TV. And the ad on TV goes, come on down to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We're going to teach you how to invest in real estate, and we're going to make you a millionaire. And it's at the Renaissance in Richardson, Texas. And I'm like, fuck, dude, that's where all my prospects are going to be. People that want to buy homes are going to be at this event.
Smart.
And it was a free event.
Yep.
So I showed up there. And I watched all these people like put on a presentation. I watched all these people go by. And then I noticed the people that bought had sacks full of CDs, because that's what time this is, right? It was 2004.
Don't date yourself, yeah.
So like I go and I wait out front, and everybody that walks by with a bag, I hand them a business card, and I'm like, hey, I can help you buy investment real estate. If you don't have to use a bank, we do alternative loans, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, cool. That Monday, so that was a Saturday. That Monday, a dude called me out of Rockwall, Texas, and he goes, I have 54 homes I want to refinance.
Woo!
So now we're talking 6 fucking figures in income, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did every motherfucking one of them, bro. So now all of a sudden, oh shit, now I got money to buy the DVDs. So I went to the next event, which was Zero Down Real Estate from Robert Allen, and I bought the $5,000 program, took the fucking course, and then started flipping houses on my own, right? So I would let somebody else do my loans. I would go flip the house, but then the other people that I was doing loans for, so now I got 2 jobs. In 2005, now think about this, in 2004, up until, call it September, I might have made $20,000. By the end of the year, I'd made 90. Okay, because I went into mortgages. By the end of 2005, I made $770,000, right? And just all investment real estate, dude. And I knew this shit like the back of my hand. And I was working 12-hour days at the bank while everybody else was fucking off. I crushed all of them, became top producer. They're having margarita hour, and I'm balling out just
Can I stay
deals.
there real quick though?
Yeah.
Because I think, dude, you're making such good points, and I'm in the insurance side of things, right? So
Same shit.
It is, right? But I think, 2 things that I just got from that, and I hope that y'all heard this, is before you went out, and not to say that it stopped you, like you didn't have to be the expert of everything in order to go out to that house and to say, hey, you ever heard of a refi, right? But he knew his product. He went to the underwriting and went through the guidelines and really researched what he was actually trying to sell. Like, I can't tell you how many times I'll see people, or like I remember this last life agent that I had, and I'm sorry if you're watching this, but I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. But it was, she had somebody that was trying to buy life insurance. And she calls me, right? And I got her trained. Here's all the training. Here's the scripts. Here's the manuals. Like, just go through everything. Like, you will be set. And she goes, hey, I've got somebody that wants life insurance. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like, what is she trying to get? And she goes, I don't know. What should I sell her? And I'm like, well, like, have you gone through any type of discovery? Like, you have to like determine what she even wants. And she's coming to me asking like, what's the best type of policy? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not giving you any more of my time. Cause like you have to go through and you got to know your product. The other thing that I got, and sometimes, I'll question myself on this. I'll hold myself accountable on this, is that when I first got in, right, and think about, okay, I'm working fucking 80 hours a freaking week at this car wash, right? And people will go through this and they'll have phases like that in their life where I'm grinding, I'm busting my ass 80 hours a week and I'm making not even that much money.
$10.50 an hour, baby.
But then they have a good opportunity that comes in front of them, like say this mortgage business, and they go to working 40 hours a week, right? Or they do hop in, and it's like, why do you have a better opportunity to make more money, yet you start to work less?
Yeah.
And it kills me.
Happens all the fucking time.
And it makes me think about, hey, like, do I work as hard as, and I always think this, like 10 years ago when I was an intern, right? And I say an intern, like I was an intern and this was in like, we're scanning in, like scanners are new. We're still using faxes and all this stuff, right? And I know I'm still probably aging or dating myself as in like, dude, this kid's a baby because we had a fax machine, right? But am I still working as hard as when I was an intern because I was trying to get that full-time job so I didn't have to go back to college, right? And even that, it was just for a customer service position. But it's like, I think now, and we definitely don't have 81,000 clients. We've got about 6,000 clients. We've done about 60 million in business. And we have 100 agencies underneath us. And I'm thinking, do I still work like I did as an intern? And I think, dude, I just want to give you kudos on that. And again, I hope y'all heard that because it's so important that, especially if there's a better opportunity in front of you, do not slow down. And it kills me. And we see it all the time. It's complacency. People get comfortable, especially on our side, the renewals, or you have any type of residual income coming in, you stop working. And so my challenge to y'all, and I hope you guys heard that when he was saying that, he ain't slow down. And it shouldn't matter the opportunity, the product, the program, it don't matter. Like, keep doing what you know you need to do. So,
once I became the top producer at this bank, the ex-top producer came up to me, and this is a person that leaves at 2 every day to go have drinks with realtors that don't have business. I'm like, most realtors don't have business. These investors are buying fucking homes, right? And they're buying a lot
of them, right?
And so she's like, how did you learn to do the investment side of this? And I was like, wait, you didn't read those books? the books that Monica gave me when I started, you didn't
And they've
read
been there
those?
for 10 years.
And you've been
Right.
you've been here longer than me, and you never thought to fucking crack those things open. They were calling reps with like Countrywide going, hey, let me run this scenario by you. I was submitting fucking loans to them because I already knew I knew more than the account executive did, you know? And there's really two things that it takes to make sales, right? You got to be confident, which means you got to know your product, right? How can you be confident about something if you don't have product knowledge? And then you got to be empathetic. You got to listen to the needs of the people so that you can solve their problem. And man, when you can put those two things together, it's pretty damn simple, you know? And so here I am, like flipping properties. And again, man, most people, they're going to have drinks at 2 p.m. and shit like that. I'm driving around to go meet builders. And I went and got with this really hot chick. And I'm like, okay, if it's a guy that's the builder rep, you go in and sell them, right? Yep. And I taught her the game. And like, if it was an older lady, I'll go in and sell them. I was in my 20s at this time. And I was like, I'll go in and talk to him, right? So we're driving around neighborhood to neighborhood to neighborhood. Then I finally got in with like Beezer, Pulte, D.R. Horton. And now all of a sudden they're sending me all of their list of homes that they need to liquidate with discounted rates. I got a fucking database of investors. I got a database of builders that need to get out from under homes. Man, we started printing fucking money. So I buy this, like, and at this point I'm making $1 million a year, right? It's 2006. And I buy this nice home, $500,000 home. I bought a, you know, I'm kind of a redneck white trash kind of dude, you know, still got it in my roots. It never really goes away. I came from Leonard, Texas. I buy a Trans Am and put some 22s on my Dodge and shit.
Hey, my guy Todd with me loves that.
I got that kind of, you know, the kind of a dope boy still mentality a little bit. And the fucking cops kicked in my front door. They thought I was selling drugs. I learned how to hack into the company computer from home because I'm kind of a computer nerd. And so I didn't have to go to the office because that was more drive time. Instead, I could drive to the builder thing, hack into the server from home. And I use the word hack loosely, but log into the server from home. And I own 32 homes. So I got it the first of the month, all these people coming to pay me rent. I got realtors dropping by contracts. I got investors coming over to talk business. And the fucking police in this small town,
too much foot traffic.
They thought I was selling dope. And so they kick in my home. I don't even got a sandwich bag, bro, because I'm so rich at this point, I'm not eating leftovers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm not even cooking, bro. I'm going out to dinner every night with a real estate agent or with an investor. They raid my whole fucking house, and I had a gun in the home. And I had been, I was well outside of in Texas, 5 years after your conviction, you can own a gun. And so they arrested me for the gun, then they dropped the charges, and the fucking ATF picked it up, bro. I went to federal prison for 2 years. So I'm a millionaire walking in federal prison. I married the hot chick that would go and talk to the builders with me, was married to her. Well, I go into prison. I sign all my shit over to her so that she can control it while I'm gone. 2 weeks later, she's fucking the landscaper, dude. And they spent all my money, sold all my houses. I walked out of prison with $25 to my name, divorced, broke as fuck, like just like fuck my life, man. But I knew two things, okay? I'd done it once.
Yep.
Right. And I can do it again. But here's the thing. When I walked out of prison, walked in 2006, walked out in 2008, the mortgage world was different. It crashed.
Right.
You know? And so I'm in prison, and we're in limited information in prison, newspapers and TVs only. You don't get to talk to people and shit like that. And I'm in a federal prison, so I'm not. It wasn't like, you know, the first go around. It's a pretty laid back place, and you know, it's like what they call prison. It was a country club type of prison, you know. And I'm just being real, so I'm not here to be like, oh, it was fucking shot caller tough guy. It was just like, fuck, I had a pretty Cadillac fucking gig there, right? And so I get out. And I go apply at this job. It's like, man, mortgages are crashing. Nobody's doing that. It's the end of an era. I go figure something else out. And I went to work. I went and I applied for this debt solution company. And the debt solution company brought us in for a group interview, like Boiler Room, the movie. And then I went and got a second interview, and I got hired on a Friday. And I checked no under have I been a felon on the application. And then when they told me I had the job. They ran my background Friday afternoon, Saturday or Sunday. They called me and they're like, you can't show up on Monday. You can't work here. Fuck. Well, I was at this place with one of my friends from the mortgage world. And he's like, dude, I know you got 2 felonies, but I can get them to get you on at this place called TexasLending.com. And I was like, man, I heard that place sucks, dude. Everybody always bitched about it. And he goes, dude, we're over here with a bunch of leads. I was like, wait, you guys get leads? Fuck, I'd never gotten leads. I built my own shit. It's like, wait, all I gotta do is call people who want to talk to me about mortgages? All right, fuck, I'm going to go talk to him. So I spent 3 hours convincing the owner and the general manager, because I had the W-2s and the tax returns to say, hey, previous to this shit, I was a baller. And so it took me 3 hours to, hey, but we don't hire felons. Yeah, we don't have to tell nobody. We just keep it our secret. You know what I'm saying? Finally, I convinced them to hire me. Went in there, became the top producer of that company during the worst economic downtime. Fucking back kicking it again, man. Wasn't making millions at this point, but making high six figures, mid six figures, fucking crushing it. The leads are coming to me, and I'm leveraging the leads to get real estate business from realtors. Dude, I'm just working a whole ass racket. One night, I'm working 80 hours a week. One night.
Still, I hope you guys heard that.
I look up on the TV in the coffee room, because if you stayed after 5 p.m., like each day, each team had a phone day. And if you stayed after 5 p.m., the phones were open to anybody that wanted to take them, right? And so I'm taking phone calls and doing deals, man. That's how you become a top producer. You go above and beyond. And I look up at the TV in the kitchen, and the fucking feds raided that credit repair company.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, fuck, that would have been my third strike, because I would have been their top producer.
Right.
And that would have been my third strike. Like, thank God for unanswered prayers, Garth Brooks. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I'm hammered down. 2010 comes around, and Obama passes a law. And I like Obama. You know, I like Trump and Obama. It's weird. I don't like that motherfucker that's in office now, but just to clear up my political standing, I'm in the middle. But I liked Obama. Didn't like Biden then, don't like him now. I like Trump. And so Obama passes this law, which makes sense. It's called the Dodd-Frank Act. They're trying to protect people because the subprime mortgage was pretty predatory, right? That industry. But part of that, they said, if you're a felon, you can't write mortgages. So fuck.
Here we go again.
The government is intervening with me again. I know 3 things: selling dope, washing cars, doing mortgages, and now I can't do any of it. You know, selling dope off the table.
Yeah.
Car washes, $10.50. I ain't going back to that at this point. Yeah. And, you know, now I can't do mortgages. But I had been, when I got out of prison, my sister goes, hey, there's this thing called Facebook. You should check it out. You should sign up on there. Maybe you meet some of your old friends and stuff on there. So sign up for Facebook. And as I'm carrying top producer plaques at the mortgage company, I would take a picture. Top producer did 37 mortgages this month, you know, and people would hit me up and they go, hey, can you do my mortgage? So in 2010, when I lost my job and I lost the ability to originate mortgages, I went, man, I'm going to teach these loan officers. Social media is here to stay. I'm going to teach loan officers how to build a business on social media that generates leads for them. And everybody thought it was a fad, dude. It was the hardest sell in the world. I had to take a job selling cars, but when I took a job selling cars while I was building my business, I was actually able to try all my shit in the car world, make videos, do the things that we're teaching. And I was selling cars that way, top producer of the car dealership too, right? And because I worked all the hours. And so then, like about 2012, I've been doing this for 2 years. I start to like break free. But I was like, man, I don't want people to know that, like, if I'm building this new business, I don't want them to be like, this dude's divorced, he's a felon, what a fucking loser. So I just like assume this moniker, the hardcore closer. And I figure if they're Googling hardcore closer, it's not going to show a felony and shit, right? And so, man, I'm starting to build this business, and I'm starting to throw events for like 4, 5, 6 people, you know, and starting to get a little traction, starting to make decent money, 6 figures a year again. And I'm working all by myself, for myself, teaching people that were just loan officers, because you got to lead. Like, a lot of the problem people do is they like, well, I'm going to teach you how to make $1 million, but they never made $1 million. I never made $1 million from social media, so I wasn't going to claim that. My claim was, what if I could show you how to get 1 or 2 deals a month from social media for free, right? And so that's an attractive offer. That's something I was qualified because I had done it to teach, and it was only for loan officers. Like, it wasn't for all businesses. So I'm leading on the level that I'm on. Hey, let me show you how to make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month from social media, right? Because that's what I had done. And so now I'm starting to grow. I'm starting to get a little bit of, and by grow, I mean I'm getting 10 likes instead of 5 on my Facebook post and shit. You know,
more than my family members.
Yeah.
Well, no, grandma.
You know, it was loan officers, but I'm starting to get some traction. And I'm starting to build groups for people and shit like that, and running ads. And, you know, 2013 runs around, and I go do this podcast. And, you know, at this point, I'm making about probably $700,000 again a year doing my events and all this shit. Top line, not net revenue. Probably making $250,000 net revenue for the year. And this guy goes, tell us about yourself. And I just told that story that I just told you. I was just like, I needed to get that off my chest. And I was like, man, I'm gonna fucking dominate this market, and people are gonna eventually find out that I'm a felon. Let me just fucking put it out there. Let me go 8 Mile on them and get it all in the fucking way so they can't say it about me. And dude, that actually was like liberating. But then more people were like, bro, your story's fucking crazy. You overcame all of that shit. And so, man, I just stuck to the script. So still to this day, now we're in 2024. So we're talking 14 years later. I still do events. I still fucking teaching people social media, but now I own a bunch of businesses. Now, because of the money that I got originally, I invested in real estate again, because I've got a history of doing that for 21 years at this point. And you know, now I'm qualified, lead a business. I own a building. I got several companies. I have my own lending company now. I got, you know, my Apex, which is our mastermind. I own software companies. I own a hell of a real estate portfolio. And so somewhere around 2017, I was like, man, I'm qualified to teach this shit to anybody. I'm qualified to teach how to run a business, how to be a leader, how to build a culture. Because I think there's, in my opinion, there's 4 levels of business and 8 skills you have to master. Level 1, you work for somebody, you need sales and marketing. Right? I knew how to market because I watched how they generated leads at TexasLending.com, and I already was a really good salesperson. So when I started my business, my whole thing was I know where to go get leads and fucking close people. That's all I need to get started. I'll figure the rest of the shit out, right? Then when you get sales and marketing down, you become self-employed, right? And I went through this journey. At that point, you got to learn how to hire and train people, right? If not, you're going to work for yourself for forever. So you need to learn how to interview processes, KPIs, SOPs, all that shit to hire people and then train them. I'm really good at training people. I sucked at hiring people because I'm like, oh, you need a job? Cool. I need an ass in a seat, you know? And
oh shit, I shouldn't have hired this person.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I've run through hundreds of employees because I gave the wrong people chances, you know? And then at the 4th level, you become an executive. You have people working for you. You're the CEO. At that point, you need to learn how to build a brand, right? And that comes from KPIs, SOPs, things like that. You need to learn how to be a better leader. So that comes from core values, mission statements, the culture you develop, and being the example. And the 4th and final level isn't retirement, it's ownership, where you own a business, but it doesn't require you to be there every day. And you get to use your highest and best use from the metaphorical work on your business, not in your business, where you have other people in the business and you're on it, which is where I am now. I'm not even the CEO of this company. And so, or any of my companies for that matter. And so, I say that because like you have to know what level you're on and what skill set. There's 8 skills, like I just said, what skill set you need to master. A lot of people go to self-employed and they go, I need to get better at sales and marketing. It's like, no. You're going to stay there forever if you don't get better at hiring and training. Stop ignoring the hiring and training part and you know, stop putting all your time into sales and marketing. You should have that pretty much down. Now you need to teach other people sales and marketing so that they can grow your business. You need to teach other people and then become a leader and stuff. So, you know, I've gone through all 4 of those levels, and you know, I'm at a point now where that's what I teach people. You know, I teach them depending on where they're at, what skills they need to master, what level they're on. That's what Apex is all about. And then we've built, you know, Phone Sites is a software company, signed, sealed. We've got the G-Code app, another software company. We've got 48/7, which is our live events company. We do events all across the United States, not just for me, but for other people too. They hire us to come in and do those in stadiums and fucking thousands of people. And then we've got, you know, a lending business, Closer Capital. Which
blew up.
Yes, man. We've done like $60 million in loans in a really short period of time. And then, but that's my background, you know?
Right.
And we've already been offered to be bought out twice.
Yeah. Did you like getting back into it?
Yeah,
to kind of tap into it a little bit again?
I didn't get back into mortgages. I wanted to get back into lending because I see all these guys raising money on the internet. Hey, invest in I've never raised money. So I've never been like, hey, yo, invest in my deals. Like, bro, I'll go fucking make money and I don't have to give up equity and I don't have to have my hand out. Hey, internet followers, invest in this. I think it's such a bitch move, right? Now, if you're someone like Cardone and you're raising for a real estate deal that's $600 million, it makes sense. But there's people on the internet and they're like, we're doing a $2 million raise. Like, bro, you can't go get $2 million? What the fuck, bro? The bank won't give you $2 million? What the fuck are you doing with your life, right? And so I never wanted to be lumped into that category. So I was like, I want to be the guy that loans to businesses. So how do I get in? Fuck mortgages. There's a lot of paperwork and red tape and all this other shit. How do I get into business lending? Because everybody needs money. And so I went, looked at it, figured it out, fucking signed up for it, became, you know, the guy. And now we've got a pretty prominent brand in that industry just in a short period of time. We're doing tons of loans every day. And
it's not a painstaking process.
no,
either.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fill out an application, give us a few pieces of paperwork, and we fund you in a couple of days. So
I think, dude, you resonate. So it's funny you talk about like training and hiring, and so one thing.
Can I say this real quick though?
Go ahead.
Notice that story that I just told you, right? And it doesn't matter if I'm worth $10,000 or $1 billion at this point, okay? But notice that story that I told you guys was the occasional win with a fucking bunch of failures and losses, but the occasional win kept me going. Most people would have hit one of those fucking failures and then just shut it down for the rest of their life and still be like, I used to have guys when I was doing the training the mortgage people 2012, 2013. They're like, man, shit just ain't been the same since 2008. Bitch, that was 4 fucking years ago. I was there and it lost my license and got my shit back together on top of being a felon, on top of going through divorce. And you went to fucking college and had one job and fucked that one job up. And here we are 4 years later and you're still a victim to some economic downturn. What a fucking pussy. You're right. Well, I never thought of it that way. I know, because you're so focused on the one time in your beautiful life that you had adversity. You're so fucking focused on being a victim of that you never decided to put your big boy pants on and keep fucking rolling, right? And so, but for me, dude, I'm getting hit by Mike Tyson of life every other fucking year in that story. Every other year, up, down, up, down, up, down, force of fucking average, but I never quit.
Yep.
And every time I got hit, it's like, dude, my back's against the wall. I got to figure this shit the fuck out. I got to bet on me. I got to double down. I'm not a victim to Dodd-Frank. I'm not a victim to going to prison. I'm not a victim of adoption. I'm an overcomer of that shit that fucking did what the fuck it takes to. Most people, it's so much more comfortable and fitting to them to be the victim of that shit as opposed to just going, I beat that shit. And they won't fucking do it.
Right.
But god damn, it feels good to drive a fucking $400,000 McLaren to work today, to go hang out with Post Malone and Jelly Roll. What if I'd have quit like a little bitch when I lost my job in 2010? And we're talking 14 fucking years of the grind later. This wasn't and then 6 months later, here's Post Malone and Jelly Roll. 14 motherfucking years, guys, of fucking ups and downs. And I gave you guys the abridged, highlighted version of this shit too. But here's the thing, when you have the mindset of I fucking done it, I know I can do it again, just keep following the playbook, read the goddamn underwriting guidelines of life, follow the fucking playbook. Nobody in the Bible, and you're going, oh, here we go with some religious stuff, but nobody in the Bible was like, other than Jesus, he had and that guy got killed, right? But like Moses was a murderer and then had to convince people that he could get them out of there. Jonah was a drunk. Noah was a fucking drunk. Like, there's no perfect fucking plan, but if you just trust. And in the back of my head, I was always like, I know there's a bigger plan for me somewhere. I can't be the guy that's condemned to go through prison and divorce and fucking adoption. That can't be the stamp of approval God put on my life. It can't be. It can't be.
Right.
There's got to be a purpose that I went through that. Now I realize that purpose is so people watching like you guys right now can go, fuck, if that dude can overcome that shit, the fact that my girlfriend broke up with me or the fact that I lost my job ain't shit. I'm going to be fine. Right. So allow my pain and overcoming of crazy circumstances to motivate the fuck out of you, to show you that if I can beat all that shit, surely you can beat the one time in your life things weren't right, and you can stop bitching and being a victim of it, and you can fucking move forward and take over things.
Hell yeah. Take us to freaking church, bro. So we do this thing called the House of Dreams, and it's the first thing I do with anybody. You talk about hiring and stuff like that. I wish I had done this first, because I'm a horrible hirer. Because I am
trial and error.
Come on, right? Yeah. And it's like, well, no. So now I do what's called the House of Dreams, and it's really to understand what they're trying to build, but then ultimately encourage them to actually try and build something, right? Like, what are you really trying to do with this thing? Because we're sitting in an amazing vehicle of insurance and just sales in general, right? But so there's the house, and there's a few other components to it, but then there's the 4 Ps. And the 4 Ps are passion, perseverance, perspective, and patience, right? And where I think, you really are just tapping into the freaking perseverance, right? You have to be able to persevere. Life is going to slap you. And it's funny you bring up God.
It's going to kick you in the nuts.
It will slap you so hard.
Period.
And it's all because, and it's funny, people try to operate on their own timeline. Dude, the timeline's already written. Everything that's going to happen to you in your life it's going to happen, right? It's predestined. And so going through these struggles and this adversity, you have to be able to persevere through it. But then what is the most important part of a house, right? We all know it's the foundation. And perseverance is directly linked. Even though it's not the same, it's very similar to one of my favorite words, which is discipline. Everything y'all just heard this man say. Everything was 80 hours a week. It didn't matter the freaking job. It didn't matter how much money was in his freaking bank account, right?
It still is.
Right, and it still is.
It still is.
So my question is, what the hell are y'all doing? Right? Why are we missing so much discipline in our lives, in our business? And then it's like, and you wonder why your bank account looks the way that it does, right? It's because your life happens, you don't persevere, you crawl into a freaking little hole, right? And you're not disciplined enough to continue through and persevere through that, right? And so I wanted to hit on that because I think, man, you're just hitting the nail on the head. Y'all, as we get to wrap up, and I know some of y'all are going to be tuning into this live and everything, drop any comments or anything that you guys may have for Ryan. He is here in the Insurance Syndicate group. If you're watching this on my personal profile, go follow the guy. I mean, he's got thousands of followers, always putting out amazing content. But I wanted to, again, thank you for your time, brother, and literally just got me hyped up. Now I'm all energetic, and I love it, dude, and I really appreciate your time, and I'm excited to be here. Give us 2-3 minutes, man, of just how can people reach out? How can people connect? Because I think, obviously, guys, I'm a part of Apex. You guys have heard us. We're sitting here talking about it, all the phone sites, Break Free Academy, all the stuff that's built into that package, right? But yeah. I want to allow you to kind of talk about it because it's already changing my business and my relationships. Hell, I already know people in this office that I knew from previous. You never know. You're going to know somebody, and then it turns out, oh, crap, Taylor Simon. I'm like, Taylor, are you freaking kidding me, dude? It's crazy. It's a big, small world. 2 to 3 minutes.
Not. It's a small world. It's not. It's a big world. Mm-hmm. There's just a small group of us making fucking big moves, and we're bound to run into each other, bro.
Right.
That's people say, oh, it's a small world. It's not a small world that I happened to run into Post Malone last night or Jelly. There's a few of us doing big shit that we're going to cross paths because most people won't do shit. It's that simple, you know?
So what is Apex? Just talk about Apex a little bit and the mission behind it.
Apex, the mission is to help as many people become the greatest version of themselves. First, you got to get your money right because everything but air costs money. Okay. Then you got to get your health together, then your family together, then the relationships that you foster. So we teach people how to do sales, marketing, hiring, training, leadership, branding, financial management, and tax minimization, right? Those 8 skills and 4 levels of business. We meet you where you're at and help you get those skills. Like if you're an executive and you are a CEO of a company, we got merchant processing, can save you tens of thousands, if not 6 figures a year. We've got websites where you can fire your webmaster, and for $29 a month, you can fucking save $500. We got Sign Seal, which is absolutely free. Get rid of DocuSign. So like almost the money, and a lot of times the money you invest to be a part of the program can become returned to you in a savings by being a part of the association.
Already has, by the way, for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So not only you make more money, we can save you enough in most cases to where it doesn't cost you any additional revenue than what you're already paying anyway. So, but what I would encourage the people here today listening to this to do would be to get a ticket to what we call the $1 Million Mastermind. Remember I told you I've been running groups since running events since 2012. Well, these events now have thousands of people that show up to them. And look, I'm just going to be real with you guys. This isn't a pitch fest. Like I'm not there. Like not everybody's got slides and they're like, okay, and now sign up for
here's my QR code
to the back of the room. Like I don't allow that. Okay. I pay the people for their time to be there so that they don't have to sell to you guys. Okay. I take ticket revenue and pay the speakers that require money to be paid for their travel and stuff like that, and do not allow them to sell to you guys because I don't like sitting through a pitch fest where every speaker's got some bullshit to sell. I want these people to be, okay, Stewman compensated me, so I'm going to go there and deliver value. I'm going to teach tactic. We've got guys like Tommy Mello, runs a $200 million a year income, gross top line revenue, 200 million plus a year garage door company. We've got 6 people that have exited their business. Okay. That means that they built and sold a fucking business. We got Victor Rancor. He sold his HVAC business for 8 figures. He's an Apex member. We got Neil Kaiser. He is an Apex member. He sold his business for 8 figures, which is a roofing company. We got Dan Martell, who's written one of the greatest books for entrepreneurs, but he sold 9 figures in software companies. We've got Ibrahim Hussein, who is the top real estate broker in Canada. He's from the Middle East. This dude has come over to another country from another country and built a fucking empire. We got John Cheplack, who's the foremost coaching and consulting person in the real estate space. So it doesn't matter if you're blue collar, white collar, real estate, banking. We have the highest IQ ever recorded on record, a gentleman named Walter O'Brien. They make movies about this fucking guy, and he's going to be there, and he's going to be talking about the future and how we can avoid the future with AI, how we're going to be able to stay out of wars, or what happens if we get into war. So there's no politicizing this. There's no religion in this. We're here to give you strategies and tactics to help you become the greatest version of yourself, and it starts with making money first. And so look, tickets to this are only $97. It's not an expensive event. You got VIP. We have a concert the day before and a guest speaker, which I'll announce down the road. It's $497, and you get a day before the live event. You can come in the night before, and we're going to have a cool ass party and everything else for the VIP people, and you get select seating. Then we've got like only 3 platinum seats left where you get to spend the day before with me here at Apex HQ with only 25 other people, and you get to meet all the speakers and everything else. That's $5,000, but I think there's only 3 of those left. They'll probably be gone by the time you guys watch this anyway. Here's the thing though. Grab a general admission $97 ticket. You have no reason that if you're a grown ass person and you can't afford to spend $97, $500 on a plane ticket and $200 on a hotel because you don't got to stay in the world's finest. If you don't have $1,000 to invest in yourself and you've been in a job since you were 16, 17, 18 years old, you're 25, 35 years old, you're fucking life away, bro. You're fucking life away. If you don't have $1,000 to bet on yourself to come learn from these people that have done this shit. These aren't influencers. They're not fucking, showboats. Yes, do they have private jets? Fuck yeah, so do I. Do they have Lamborghinis? Fuck yeah, so do I. But they ain't showing that shit on Instagram. That's not the basis of who they are. They're running real motherfucking companies doing big shit with a lot of employees. And these are people that you want to come learn from. The men and women that are leading this event are the people that you want to come learn from. And so invest in yourself, $97. Go to milliondollarmastermind.com. That's it, milliondollarmastermind.com. We've been running this event for a very, very long time. Nobody throws events like we do. It's in Dallas, Texas, technically Irving, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. It's at the place where Jelly Roll performs. It's at the place where Post Malone performs when he comes to town. It's the Toyota Music Factory. But go to milliondollarmastermind.com and get your tickets. Apex, that's great. Maybe we can have a discussion once you get there. You can talk to some of my team about that. But start by coming in. Here's the thing. When you get around the right people at the right time, at the right place, and it's that small world of people who are investing in themselves, who want to learn from 9-figure entrepreneurs, not influencers and bullshitters and dick suckers, but fucking real people that are running real business that can tell you what they did to get there, sell, scale, all that shit. That's what you want to get around. Right. So go to milliondollarmastermind.com and sign up there.
And my last bit of encouragement here before we wrap up, y'all, is, and it's the thing that changed my life. It's why I'm sitting here in this freaking podcast studio doing a freaking podcast with Ryan Stewman, is the expense versus investment mindset. I always, especially when we first, and I get it, guys, we started bootstrap from scratch. It was, if I don't make this sale this month, we're not going to be able to pay rent for the office that we just freaking got, right? So I get what it looks like to look at your bank account and be like, shit, I can't afford that. You can't not afford it, though, is kind of the point. Is so when you can shift your mind from, an expense to, dude, you get to invest $97 into a ticket to come get around people that are making more money, right, and have more relationships and more products and more solutions. That's my favorite part about events. You never know what you're going to go and get, but then you bring back so much. So again, my challenge to y'all, really think about it. Is it an expense or is it an investment? And I promise you, it is an investment. It changed my business. I know it can change yours. So with that being said, thank you, Ryan. Man, I appreciate y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this winning on Wednesday. But remember, it is Wednesday. It is the peak of the week. Keep your pedal down, right? Keep the gas on. And I will ultimately say my 2 cents is keep persevering, right? And don't stop freaking working, right? 80 hours, 80 hours, 80 hours, 80 hours. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much money's in your bank account. Keep grinding. We appreciate you guys. Have an amazing day. Later.